anyone know what number this is?
230? Are we there yet?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Could be.
It probably should be. Hello. Welcome to We Were Gamers, a podcast about... I've lost the thread of this year, man. It just feels like sometimes it's about anything and everything.
It's in theory, it started out as a podcast about some people who knew each other when we were younger and played a lot more video games than they used to play, or used to play a lot more video games than they currently play. And now we just talk about them because we don't have time to play them. But it is meandered from that premise to, I don't know, this podcast has become this show about nothing. So
It's not about nothing. It's definitely about enjoyment, right? It's a podcast about making sure that as your time lessens, your enjoyment stays high. I think
that's fair.
Making
I was just
sure-
like meaning it in the Seinfeld sense, and that there's no like theme.
Oh, for sure. There's no theme. Yes, that's a good point. We do talk about games, but first we're gonna repeat last week because the Dodgers and the Braves went to Game 7, Michael, and that's what we started off talking about last week.
Yeah.
How are you,
I
friend?
mean, I guess the good news is I don't have to sleep on the couch.
Yikes!
Oof.
No, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, Atlanta took a 3-1 lead in the series and then just sort of couldn't get over that last hump. They let the Dodgers back in, and the Dodgers took advantage of it.
I hate to tell you this, but you had an 85% chance to win.
I'm well aware.
Okay.
Is this like that 28-3 thing that always happens to Atlanta?
It's funny that you say that, JJ, because I looked up. I was talking with one of my cousins who lives, he's from Atlanta. He doesn't live there at the moment. All throughout the series, because he's also a Braves fan. And at one point, going into, I want to say it was going into Game 3. Atlanta was up 2-0 in the series, and apparently teams that had taken a 2-0 series lead in the best of 7 LCS format were 28-3 going into that game.
No.
Yes.
No. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make this up. The city of Atlanta can't get away from those numbers.
The cursed score.
Only 13 teams have ever come back from 3-1, being down 3-1.
Yep.
I will say, as a family whose baseball fandom is not terribly deep, but I know several of my relatives and close family friends and stuff were extremely excited to see the Dodgers pull it out. So,
I think half of Michael's house was extremely excited too.
Yeah, although that half is still convinced that the Dodgers are going to do what they've done lately, which is get there and then stumble
Flub
over
it.
themselves.
Flub it. I mean, is their plan to just ride the what's his name? The pitcher. Oh my God,
Kershaw.
Because the plan of riding Kershaw, I mean, he's a great pitcher. I can't say there are any better when it comes to a full season of stats.
I mean, he's a lock Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but for some reason, the story now is what he does in the playoffs and specifically in World Series is now, I think one of those 3, this will be the 3rd time or the 4th time? Fourth time in 5 years?
Yeah, maybe 4 times in 5.
I think it's 4 and 5. But one of those times someone was stealing his signs, I guess. So you can't really say that was his fault.
all the more reason we were happy the Astros lost.
Yep.
I was not happy that they didn't get shut out and they came back to Also a game 7 or a game 6?
Also a game 7.
Also a game 7, I thought. Yeah. That
But
shouldn't have happened.
They were down 3-0.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that they did not pull that off, because they don't deserve to be in the same conversation as the 04 Sox team.
Exactly. The I saw a meme that was good of the Astros holding the trophy from that year that they won. And then someone saying the reason it didn't work like this, there was a crucial piece missing, and like it poorly edited into the photo was like someone with their hand around a garbage can.
Wow. Well, good luck to the Dodgers. The Rays have only been to the dance once before, so they're going to be hungry. It's going to be a fun series. That was some of the best to stick it out, Michael, and to play that hard even as they watch the series slips away and watch some of the best baseball I've seen in a long time for both teams.
It was 7 games of fantastic baseball, you know, other than the one inning from Atlanta where they gave up 11 runs.
But, that 15-run game, yeah. We're
other
not
than
talking
that,
about
it was great baseball, and I can't imagine having to play 7 games in 7 days under that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Right, because there's no break.
No travel. Yeah,
no travel.
They should have given them a break in the middle or something, like 4 and 3.
No. It's not like baseball is so demanding. If they were putting the same pitcher back out, all right, like, look, you know, the arms can't take that.
Okay.
But the first baseman can run. It's fine.
I'm gonna say, I challenge you, JJ.
Look, baseball is a difficult sport. I get it. They're professionals.
To run from a dugout distance to a center field distance 18 times, 7 days in a row.
I'm not a trained professional athlete.
I'm just saying, leave the dugout.
And they are
center field 18
you
times
don't have
for
to,
7 days.
And they have to run this at a high pace. You can jog. You can walk, my man. A baseball game is 15 hours long. There's enough time.
I'm not making you run the bases. I'm not making you throw a baseball. No warm-ups. Just that part.
Look, I will say, all of the no travel stuff has benefited every sport thus far.
I agree.
The NBA bubble, all the quality of play was way higher than I think I expected.
Way higher.
And it turned in some really amazing games, finals and otherwise.
The NHL was okay. It wasn't fantastic.
Yeah, there were some good games in there for sure, but yeah, it wasn't all amazing. And there has been really good baseball so far. I think, I think it works, man.
But it's pretty cool that the NHL title went to Tampa, the NBA title went to LA, and now they're fighting over the other one.
Yeah.
So does this mean a Florida or LA team is going to try for the Super Bowl? Florida versus LA Super Bowl?
Oh my God! What if it was Tampa versus
Rams and Tampa
versus Rams? Are they in separate divisions?
Oh, good question.
I was trying to think. I know the Rams are NFC, right?
Yeah. Tampa.
Who's in the AFC in Florida?
Well, let's see if Tampa's in the AFC. Oh, it's the Dolphins. The Tampa's in the NFC.
Yikes!
Little Fitz magic.
That's not too likely. They put two.
Wait, hold on. I've got a fix here. Tampa, because they're the NFC, and the LA Chargers.
There you go. Stick it to the Rams in that new stadium up there to have the Chargers play.
They could still have an LA Tampa Super Bowl. Is all I'm saying.
Well, you could have the 40. Oh yeah, if
it's got to be LA. Yeah,
it has to be an AFC team. That's the problem.
It's got to be an AFC team in LA. Oh boy. Speaking of the NFL, I'm really glad we got here. Just before we got on, I have come to a conclusion. Despite my waning interest in the NFL, I still have an opinion about touchdowns. I think the celebrations need to get cut back again.
All they do is go stand in front of wherever the camera is and like mug. They pose and they do things and stuff. It's not
the Cardinals today decided to become bowling pins, and the guy that got a touchdown threw a strike.
So football is just turning into soccer, is what you're saying.
I mean, I'm
No,
okay
in
with
soccer
this.
they have genuine enjoyment of their goal, right? I mean, they don't.
I mean, have you seen some of the celebrations that some of these teams come up with for
Yeah.
soccer goals? They are elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah. You're watching like the highest level of soccer, Andrew,
Where
where
they don't
people are
celebrate
like,
that much. Yeah.
because if they celebrate too much, the other team has gone back down the field to score a goal again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in like the lower levels of like, whatever country's soccer league, some of the games are extremely lopsided and they get very silly.
It is true that I pay attention to a football when it is on a high tier of play, not on basic tiers. Okay. Well,
But I mean,
I'm not a fan.
let the people celebrate. Who cares?
Okay, fine. Fine. Should we celebrate the death of a god?
I mean, I don't know.
Of
Depends.
a god.
Feels like a tricky question.
Yeah.
Okay. If there was a god of peanuts and he died, Michael, would you celebrate?
I mean, maybe. Who replaced him?
Well,
question.
about that, actually, I can answer that question, but
in Blaseball,
it's a long story.
in Blaseball, the sport of Blaseball, we've had the death of the peanut god, Michael.
The shelled one
The
has
shelled
fallen.
one has passed.
He actually got eaten by the squid god, which is pretty funny.
I think people who were hyperallergic, allergenic is non-allergenic, hyperallergenic. People in the
Hyperallergic.
Blaseball league have peanut allergies, just like in real life, and so they're probably happy.
Yeah, especially since all the weather in this season seems to have changed from the various things such as blood rain, birds, and peanuts
I like
to sun 2 and black hole. Those are the only two weathers.
I like that they didn't explain what birds did until after birds became not a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, people could get shelled. I think we've talked about in this before.
Yes.
So if you had the weather birds, the birds could possibly pick apart the shells of the people that were shelled if you enticed them with peanuts.
Okay.
But they didn't
It's also-
explain this while things were happening. They waited until after he was dead to be like, yeah, there's no more bird weather because there's no more peanut weather.
There's also, you could sometimes, if a pitcher or a batter was like friends of birds, some of the players have that trait. They could call upon the birds to like scare people off the field and like get like if the pitcher calls upon the birds and then the batter just like runs off the field and is just out.
Oh, a very Hitchcock moment.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm concerned for Blaseball.
You don't think the Squid Gods Hall Star team, who then were the only people in the history of Blaseball to be released, are our saviors? No.
I'm concerned in universe for the lack of a team. Like, what is that going to do to all the people that were fans of that team that is now gone?
The Crabs, the team that defeated the first team to 3 wins, was said to ascend. The Crabs are not gone. They have merely ascended, Andrew.
I see.
Into the higher league, of which we know nothing about, apparently.
But if you're a Crab fan, what do you do?
Well, you can go on the Blaseball website and look in the bulletin section.
Uh-huh.
There's a thing called the telescope, and it shows you the Crabs' score for this season in the league, wherever it is that they are. They're 0-12 right now. So it seems like maybe there's more competition up there than down here.
And they might be back, is what you're thinking.
Who can say?
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, they were replaced by the Tokyo Lift, whose icon is like a weightlifting dude person. It's pretty cool.
I like that.
A bunch of teams got shuffled up. All the like famous dead people who defeated the Shelled One Gods team are gone, are like completely gone. They're off the Hall of Flame, everything.
Wow.
Can't find them anymore.
Wow.
And the various people who were on the Peanuts Gods team were freed and randomly scattered about the league.
Did we get any better? Are the Tigers ever going to be back in it?
Well, the Tigers changed leagues, so they're in the Wild High now instead of the Mild High.
Maybe we'll get more wins.
We're doing pretty well as of this. As of season 11, day 12, the Tigers are 8-4.
That's a better start.
Pretty good. However, the Seattle Garages are 10-1. The Dallas Steaks are 9-4.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. The Garages and the
Tacos are 7-7.
Oh, well, the Tacos are a joke. But
I mean, hold on. You're not thinking this through hard enough, Andrew.
I am not.
If the Tigers are 8-4, but the Tacos are 7-7, and the Garages are 10-1, how does this work?
Oh, they're all in the same.
No.
Okay.
Different leagues.
Wait, hold on.
You only play. Yeah, it's day 12, man. There could only be 12 games.
There should be 12 games.
The Tacos are 7-7.
That's 14 games.
Wrong, because the new weather can add and subtract wins.
What do you mean add?
You can just get a win in the middle of the game.
The Garages had a bunch of wins added and a bunch of losses taken away?
Potentially, yes.
Oh.
The weather of the black hole, as soon as you reach 10 runs, as soon as your opponent reaches 10 runs, it subtracts a win from your team and then resets their runs to 0.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Jeez.
Or wait, does it subtract a win or add a loss? It's one or the other. And the Sun 2, which, by the way, Sun 1 was destroyed when the Peanut God died, along with the Moon. So we have Sun 2 now. Sun 2 is like the black hole, but in reverse. In that if you get 10 runs, your score is reset to 0 and you gain a win. There have already been teams who have gotten multiple wins in the same game. So like they reset their score to 0 and then still win the game.
Oh, wow.
Some teams have done that twice and gotten 2 wins plus the number of win, like the win for winning the game.
Someday we'll be back. I'm concerned. I'm not just concerned in game though. Like, all this stuff is kind of, you're concerned for the universe and your team, but also they've announced they're going to take a sabbatical, a huge break.
Well, they said a extended siesta. It's not clear. They're talking about several weeks, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The discipline era, Andrew, is over. They ended the discipline era, which was basically been the de facto story of Blaseball since it started. The new era is called Peace and Prosperity, which in the context of like a vaguely absurdist horror themed baseball sort of sport
kind of funny
is ominous. At the end of, after killing the Peanut God, the Squid God said, "Hey, you guys should watch out. This place looks like a mess, and the boss will be here soon."
That's not good. See,
the boss showing up is a golden coin of some sort, who says they are now the new owners of the league and are going to clean things up around here. The commissioner was promoted to the CEO, which is very, the commissioner is always doing a great job. That's one of the most important things in Blaseball.
Well, now you can't call him the commissioner now.
He's the commissioner CEO.
Oh, he's still the commissioner, though.
Yes.
I see. Do you think people are going to keep playing after a big break like this?
I mean, it sounds like they are taking the break in order to prepare their storylines and stuff for the next bit of the game.
Maybe they could also fix the website a lot.
I mean, I'm sure that's not, I'm sure that is also part of it, right?
Yeah.
That is definitely something else they want to do.
I think they could leave the website the way it is, but they got to get it so that I don't have to reload the page every 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's been weird. Been weird for sure. Also, the people who made this game are putting out a game on Switch and PC called Where Cards Fall.
Oh, they're trying to do 2 games at once?
well, this was a game they made as like a stopgap, not actually a game, and they have said that it is not profitable. Like they lose money on Blaseball. There's a
I can
Patreon.
believe that.
Go support them if you would like. But yeah, so their Switch game is coming out. Switch and PC game, I guess, is coming out soon, and so they're, I think, perhaps maybe taking a break to focus on that, so that they can come back to Blaseball when
make some money, come back.
Yeah, makes sense. And if nothing else, right? Like they didn't invent the giant like JRPG boss fight against the peanut god out of nothing. Like it was clearly some kind of plan that they had at some level. So they're going to need to spend their time to figure out how to get that, what the next story is going to be. So
speaking of peanuts, hear ye, gavel sound, gavel sound.
Oh,
is the food court is back in session?
The Honorable Judge Krakowski. I don't know if you're allowed to preside over this one. You have bad opinions sometimes about this type of food. Yeah, okay. I mean, you're already on the bench. We're just going to have to make our arguments better.
Can't kick me off.
I know.
The podcast, man.
No. I'm just saying, you're on the bench, the legal bench, not on the bench like in baseball.
I see.
Sorry. You just got to tailor your arguments to the judge. You got to play by the rules.
There's nothing said that judges have to serve for life is what I'm saying. You can get a vote of the proletariat here and take the judges off. I'm just saying it's allowed.
Okay.
Anyway.
We differ a lot when it comes to this type of food. Sometime. Well, okay. Let's start over. We have very similar opinions of this food, except for one particular type of it. But some people halfway around the globe have decided that anything can go on this type of food. Banana, curry, pizza. The Swedes, you guys, have developed the wonderful Swedish meatball, and then have decided that they should try their master hand at Swedish meatballs on pizza. Now, a Swedish meatball on a pizza sounds great, but
I was just going to say that does sound very good.
They have a lot of weird pizzas. I'm just going to read one or two. This one has... I'm so sorry. I lost my list, of course. Here we go. Tomato sauce, cheese, fruit cocktail, and chocolate.
No.
Oh. Are they trying to do the dessert pizza thing?
Oh, but it's got tomato sauce and cheese on it.
I'm so against the dessert pizza in general.
Tomato sauce, cheese, chicken, raisins, and Béarnaise sauce.
Ooh, okay. You were almost okay there.
Yeah.
I could have let the raisins slide.
Depending on what came next, maybe.
Pizza with tomato sauce and cheese, with black currants, pork tenderloin, and curry.
Again, they really just go wrong with the sauces. If you lift the curry back off that, it's probably all right, maybe, right?
Or take the tomato sauce off. That
exactly.
Combination might work without the tomato sauce.
This banana
just use
one
the curry instead.
The banana curry one looks so gross. It's like fire roasted bananas.
Is it curry and tomato sauce again?
Oh yeah, it's cheese, tomato sauce. It's a pizza with bananas and curry on it. And my wife, having lived in Scandinavia, says this is not a new thing. They don't really quite understand the balance of a pizza.
I think we have to understand that Scandinavia is also the home of like deeply fermented fish.
Oh yeah.
And that must ruin their taste buds or something, because why would you do this?
Well, it's like being told the idea of something and then not understanding that to be able to riff on it, you can deconstruct it into its parts, right? Yep. Somehow it feels like someone is fixated on the concept of it's not a pizza if it doesn't have cheese and tomato sauce, rather than pizza as an idea needs to have some kind of sauce, maybe cheese, and then other toppings.
This version of a Hawaiian pizza, JJ, which is what I was alluding to earlier.
I knew what you were getting at.
This version we will agree on. This version of a Hawaiian pizza that I am seeing in front of me from a Swedish restaurant has ground beef, miniature cocktail shrimp.
Weird, but some people like that. Okay.
And the entire full ring canned pineapple rings on top of it. And pepperoncinis whole with the top still on.
What?
with tomato sauce and cheese.
With tomato sauce and cheese.
Why would you do this?
Because they have like kebab pizzas. I'm seeing a kebab pizza, which actually looks pretty good. There's a lot of good donor stuff from that area of Europe. Mm-hmm. And there's like a kebab pizza with those pepperoncinis on it. Of course, they're still whole, which they shouldn't be, but that pizza actually looks pretty good.
Because let's talk about what's in a kebab, right? The kebab, you got peppers, you got onions, you got like lamb or beef or
some sort of meat, all
roasted meat,
together,
falafel, whatever.
Falafel meat, sure.
Am I missing something important here from a kebab? Tomatoes, maybe?
Sometimes there's peppers in there.
Sometimes
lettuce, peppers, onions, some kind of meat, tomato, maybe. Those are all great pizza toppings. Yeah. You could put that you could unroll your kebab and dump it onto, assuming like a donor style kebab, right? Like, dump all those toppings onto a normal cheese and tomato sauce pizza, and that would be really good.
Swedish pizza salad. It's exactly what you are thinking. Except I'm going to blow your mind. There's fries on it too. And cucumbers.
Sure, why not?
As a defender of carne asada fries, I don't know if I can immediately rule out the idea that fries on like a pizza salad
hold on,
are
fries
bad.
On a pizza. Let's just start there.
It doesn't sound like what I want.
I'd give fries on a pizza a shot.
But I would try it.
Because potato pizza is good.
Yeah. I was going to say it depends on what else is on the pizza.
Right. So potato pizza is good. So I'd give fries a shot.
Like I said, it doesn't sound like what I want, but I'm not out. Look, it's not out the window. Some of this other stuff is out the window.
This is tzatziki, lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers with fries on top of a cooked pizza.
Yeah.
So
like that literally is like they did the donor on top of the.
If you'd like to defend yourself from what I'm assuming Judge Krakowski is going to say is a food crime.
I mean, who could is this like, am I being singled out here for calling this is this not an en banc panel of judges all calling this a crime?
I think we're all in agreement this time.
I will sign this judicial order calling this a crime, but like I can't believe you wouldn't sign it also.
Well, I think your opinion that Hawaiian pizza is bad is also almost criminal.
Pineapple shouldn't be on pizzas, man.
Why?
It's just not.
Why?
It's not. No.
You're alone in that opinion. Sorry, JJ.
I get it. I understand, but I have to die on this hill alone. But
maybe you just need like a pulled pork pizza with smaller amounts of pineapple, fresher pineapple.
You're gonna try to like sneak it in there and not tell me it's there, and it'll turn out.
You could do the thing where you like cook the pineapple into the pork.
Sure.
Ahead of time. And then it just gets crisped up with the pizza. Instead of being what sometimes I agree from cheaper places, when they just put the canned stuff straight on there, it turns into kind of a wet mess.
Yeah. That's the problem with pineapple pizza, right?
No, it's not. It's the problem with bad pineapple pizza.
Oh, perhaps I've only had bad pineapple pizzas until I just decided to never have pineapple pizza again because it's always bad.
Yeah. You want an easy fix? Grill the pineapple.
Done. Bingo.
I mean, if you're going to grill a pineapple, can I just eat the grilled pineapple separate from the pizza and be happy? Because I will do that.
There will be extra because I want some as well.
You know what's really good on a grilled pineapple? Tahini.
Yeah.
Also
yeah.
really good on pizza.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Certain pizza. I think the pizza is supposed to have balance. Sometimes you're allowed to throw the balance off with things like pineapple when you have specific flavors. But none of these Swedish pizzas have balance. And so, yes, I say crime.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crime.
Podcast at wewergamers.com if you lived or live in Sweden and you disagree, and we will give you a fair shake.
Yeah. Look, we have we are obligated to hear from all sides. If you are on the other side of this, we will listen to your argument and consider it.
Yeah. Or tell us what we're missing. Maybe the tomato sauce is something completely different than what we're conceptualizing, and it ties the whole thing together.
If you're gonna defend it, though, you've got to tell me why banana curry pizza is a
really
sustainable position to be in.
It really feels
This
bad.
literally just looks like not even good tomato sauce and not enough cheese.
What kind of curry are we talking?
It looks like yellow curry.
Okay.
And there's just peanuts thrown there and maybe a cashew. But the bananas look so sad, and this pizza looks so flat and wet and not good.
I also have a similar issue with pizzas from other countries that I have seen, like Japan.
Yeah.
You guys seen like a lot of the things that pass for Japanese pizza?
I mean, I've seen Americans try to do Japanese pizza.
To
Like
be fair, I
clams and stuff like that.
Yeah. The one thing I remember about Japanese pizza toppings is they just love mayo.
Oh, Kewpie, not
Kewpie.
even mayo.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, there is a ton of mayo on this pizza, dude. Like, just understand. Like, they have tomato sauce maybe, but they like, they drip the tomato sauce on there, and then the mayo, they are just like emptying the bottle. That was my recollection of it.
I feel like at least Kewpie is not just straight mayo.
It's a different
It has
tasting
a
mayo.
Different flavor, almost umami level.
But yeah, it's like a lot of like,
But like I've seen
like
the
fish stuff,
Japanese
like clams and
some Japanese pizzas that don't have crust.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a knife and fork
Shrimp.
situation. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Although there are some that I've seen that are good though. They have like egg.
Yeah, so I'm not here to say that like every single pizza from there is bad.
Sure.
But I feel like they also are not always good at the balance.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it's like clams and shrimp and sausage. You're like, okay, this is just a lot.
But then you get the people from America that then think they're being super cute when they make stuff like this, and they call it Japanese pizza. And I want to go strike them with an open palm of my hand. I sent it in the chat.
This is both culturally offensive and offensive looking.
Yeah, and you can get it right here in LA.
You know what this is? This is someone who wanted to have a sushi restaurant, but their sushi wasn't good or even like close to good enough to make it in LA, which has great seafood restaurants.
Yeah.
And they were like, how can we stand out? Let's just make terrible shapes. And we're to shape this one sushi roll into a slice of pizza looking thing. This is garbage.
I agree. It's lazy.
And probably not good, right? Like, I don't.
Probably not. I don't know. I mean, you could throw a stick.
Culture.
You could throw a stick even in Orange County and hit a good poke place. Like, why would you get this?
There's 5. I think there are literally 5 sushi restaurants that do rolls and stuff within like 2 miles of my house. Why would I ever eat that?
Michael's in a real good zone for sushi.
I was gonna say I could walk to at least 4 that I can name that I have been to and like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't no. What? No. No. You know what? I would expect something like that not to come from a place like LA, but to show up in like the Midwest.
Maybe.
Where like there are not good sushi restaurants.
No, we're not gonna bag on the Midwest. You know where you'd find this? Vegas.
Oh, sure. Like
Yeah.
very touristy. Like this is
Right.
you are a dumb tourist and you don't understand what could possibly be good. Have this garbage.
You know what I would try on a pizza? Is like tempura, like from Japan. I would like put tempura vegetables on a pizza and see how that turned out.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Fried almost
Yeah.
anything probably would do great.
Okay. I think we've settled this. Speaking of Japan, Sega turned 60.
So
Yeah.
old.
Happy birthday, Sega.
I didn't realize
can
that. I
almost
would have thought
retire.
more like 40, 45. He's looking good. He must stay fit. The blue bomber, that is.
Mr. Sega, or are we talking about Sonic?
Oh, I was saying Sonic, but you know, whoever.
He's not. I don't think Sonic is 60. I think
Is
just
Sonic not
Sega
60?
is.
Who's Mr. Sega?
I don't know. The
Um,
guy who founded Sega. I don't
You know,
know.
I'm gonna have to look up a Mr. Sega to see if there is one now.
Segata Sanshiro was a character they had that was their like mascot for a while. But
Oh, really? No.
yeah, it's a guy. It was just a guy,
Okay.
but I don't.
They're
also don't think he
celebrating.
was
Tell
the
us why they're
manager.
celebrating and how.
They are celebrating, which actually I believe the celebration will have ended by the time this podcast goes up. Very sad.
Dope.
Timely. They're celebrating 60 years of being Sega or whatever, and therefore they are doing a sale on a bunch of Sega games, which is cool, on Steam. And they're also giving away a bunch of free demos / like really tiny bite-sized games.
They're not like pieces of other games, though. They're actual bite-sized games.
They are individual things. To my knowledge, they are not intended to be bigger than what it is that they are.
Okay.
So like a level of a game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They started with a game called Armor of Heroes, which I believe is like using stuff from the Company of Heroes series to play like essentially a tank combat game.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I played it for about how long you think a tank combat game would make you interested in playing it. And to be clear, this is like top down, like steer your tank to shoot kind of thing. It's very, very, very basic,
Mm-hmm.
Graphics are, it looks like kind of Company of Heroes, the kind of the way that top down RTS kind of game looks. If you guys have played that one.
Yeah, I like Company of Heroes a lot.
So they did that one. They did another one whose name is I am forgetting. Oh, Endless Zone. I did not play Endless Zone. It is a like shooter. It looks like,
It
like
looks
a
like
side scrolling.
It looks like an on rails thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
More like what would you call those games? Like Panzer Dragoon.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 You're kind of flying at the thing and shooting at big enemies and
the
stuff.
screen is popping things up in front of you while you're still flying. You can kind of move up and down and stuff, but that one looks fun.
It was, again, not bite sized, right? I don't have a lot of love for those kind of games, but some people do.
Mm-hmm.
They also released probably the one I played the most of, certainly, which I mean is not saying a lot, but
The most of an hour of.
yeah. They released a game called Streets of Kamurocho, which is Streets of Rage 2, but let's replace the characters with Kiryu from the Yakuza series, and then you beat up other people vaguely from the Yakuza series.
Vaguely from.
I mean, it's like, how many Chinese mobsters or Japanese Yakuza people or whatever.
Can you beat up?
Right.
Right.
And there's like, 5 models for enemies. Right.
Right.
They
Sure.
change, and just like in Streets of Rage, it's the same 5, and they change names and they have different health bars or whatever. And then there's a couple bosses, and it's like one full Streets of Rage sized level, which I don't know if you guys have played Streets of Rage at all
Not
or in a
recently.
very long time.
No.
The game has like, if you do moves and whatever your guy can do, Like he does like a rising upper and that kind of like punches and stuff, uppercuts. It's interesting. Again, I played it for about an hour, maybe max.
I searched for Mr. Sega and I got a lot of Mr. Bones stuff from the Saturn.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll take it. Although he doesn't look great. He's all bones.
Got him. And the final one they released was called Golden Axed, a canceled prototype. Which literally is a single level of a reboot that some developer worked on for a Golden Axe game in like 2012. The developer got out there and talked about making it. They made it in like 2 weeks. It never went anywhere. The developer was like, no one ever contacted us that they were doing this. It's kind of weird to see this out there, but I guess here you go. Enjoy it. Yeah, it's I mean, Golden Axe is also not a complicated game.
No, it's not.
This is like pretty gory for a not complicated Golden Axe game.
Oh,
but it's again, that one's certainly under an hour's worth of playtime there. Maybe 20 minutes if you're not terrible and you don't just mash the button to not die.
Well, so it is a Golden Axe game.
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Mash to victory. Nice.
Yeah. They were fun little things, and I believe they're pretty time limited. I'm not sure if they're still available for people to get or not. Again, it's not like there are cards or anything related to them, but they are fun to check out and, play around. Things that could have been.
I think especially for a lot of people that had come of age while Sega was still putting out consoles, they're going to be a little bit more poignant.
Yeah, I think if you like the Yakuza series, the Yakuza one is really good. And even if you don't and you just like Streets of Rage, that's a good beat 'em up game. It is only one level, but again, if you like those kind of games, it is a pretty good one of those.
Nice. Oh boy. Can I? I don't know how to mention this, but I guess we'll lead in with, we had a little fun playing Halo this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. Shots of bad guys.
We were discussing, I think, while we were playing that, and I would be curious, Michael, what you think.
Okay.
When Halo Infinite comes out, whether or not we think it's going to poach enough people from the Master Chief Collection that we're going to have trouble finding games. Because we were already having a little bit of trouble. We were playing a map, or a style of map called Infection? Was that it?
Yes.
Infection. And there's a lot of these versions of Infection out there for multiple platform or multiple game versions, I guess, Michael. You could do like Halo 3 Infection, Halo 2 Infection. I saw Reach, but I don't think JJ did. But we were only getting games on like one map in one version of the game.
We played on Halo 2 and 3 eventually, but it took several games for it to move.
Right. Which is going to be solved a little bit by crossplay when they add it, but we're starting to think, what happens when Infinite launches? Do you think it would poach a lot of people out of that player pool? Because it's going to poach more on the console version probably than on the PC version, I would guess.
Sure.
But the PC version audience is tiny.
I think for sure you're going to see it poach people to start with. I think almost the better question is, will it poach them permanently? Right? Does it do a good enough job, and is the game itself good enough that people aren't of the opinion, I kind of like the old version better, and then drift back? Right? If they put out something that's great, that really grabs people and holds them, then yeah, you might have trouble with matchmaking. But if it's the kind of thing that, doesn't really overwhelm people, and they decide that they like the stuff that they've gotten used to better, they might come back.
I got to thinking about it again today because I went to the store and I was walking down a aisle to go get some of those fizzy waters from, we won't say where, but it doesn't matter. And right next to it, they had Monster Energy.
Mm.
And I guess there's a little bit of a snafu with Halo Infinite coming out next year.
It was delayed.
It was delayed. Mm-hmm. So I guess we get more time on MCC before we lose all of everybody.
Well, so then there's the other thing of like, they release Halo Infinite, right? Or in the lead up to Halo Infinite, do they now discount the MCC for a while in the lead up to Infinite, right? And we get a surge of players playing because they're discounting it and making it available for cheap.
That'd be nice.
Maybe.
Faster games, more maps. On the Monster Box, I spoiled it already. It was a giant Halo Infinite ad that was right next to it. I guess there's a little bit of a snafu with their marketing. I looked this up when I got home. All their Halo Infinite branded stuff launched this summer.
Probably timed there.
Yeah. Oops. Nothing you could do about it, I guess. Kind of funny. But they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Like if you buy some of their Mega Bloks has been rebranded, by the way. I didn't know if you know this.
Oh.
Mega Bloks is no longer Mega Bloks. Mega Bloks is Mega Constructs.
Did they get sued? Why would they change their name like that?
I don't know. Maybe Mega Bloks had a bad connotation and they tried to rebrand. So they got Halo Infinite stuff. You can get skins from buying those. I don't know what you get from the Monster Energy. All sorts of stuff. But there's a big question about what to do with all these codes since the game's not coming out.
I was going to say it's likely that those gave you codes in the same way that like people that play Call of Duty would get codes, and you get like experience to level your character or whatever. Since I assume this game is going to have leveling because that's how video games work now. So,
how did video games work then? Take us back in time to 2 generations ago now. JJ?
What?
It's now 2 generations. Can you believe this?
Well, the next one isn't quite out yet, right?
It's out. It's basically out.
Comes out in like mid and late November.
Look, raise your hand don't raise your hand. Sound off because we're on a podcast. Michael, you've got what, a PS something in that house?
We have a 2 and a 3.
Okay. So you're 3 and 2 generations behind there. You've got a Wii U.
We have a Wii and a Wii U and a Switch.
That's 2.5 generations behind.
Mm-hmm.
We're falling behind the times. Why would you go back and emulate PS3 games?
Because you can run them on your PC at 4K and 60 FPS.
Has someone done
some sweet up-resing?
Yeah.
Is the computer doing it, or did people make texture packs?
The computer's doing most of it. So there's an emulator called RPC S3. You can go download it yourself. Open source emulation. It requires a PS3 BIOS to work. However, you can get that from Sony. You just go to Sony's website and download it. As though you were downloading it for your PS3 to have. You can just do that. So you do that, send it to the emulator, and then you have the tricky task of acquiring games that you own to use on your PC, which means you need certain models of Blu-ray drives because those are the ones that can do ripping. And then there's a whole series of things with that. So they have a website that walks you through how to do all that stuff if you want to. People can figure it out. I trust them. But at the end of the day, I own a copy of Demon's Souls, and I wanted to play it again. And I was like, maybe I should try this for like a little bit, see how it goes. It's not that hard to set up. I was able to get it to recognize my controller very easily. Installed the files in the right places and everything, and then hey, here I am. And then I went looking for mods for it because when you run it at 4K, the low resolution textures are very obvious. Stuff like the font being really blurry because it was made for 720. When you upres it to 4K, that's you need a sharper font. Need a sharper font. But like, in terms of the geometry and stuff, yeah, I didn't, like no one made a huge texture pack or whatever for this, but people have done stuff like improve the lighting and things like that, through modern graphics. It's interesting. The thing that I actually found most amazing about it is there are PlayStation Network emulation for this.
Wait,
there are private like networks that you can connect to that are emulating the calls and stuff for the online portions of some of these games. Specifically, mostly the games that do peer-to-peer stuff. So like Demon's Souls is one because it doesn't have like a central server. So it doesn't really cost them anything to run it.
It's just routing people to hosts.
They just have a like, they're like, hey, everyone agree to point your games to this location. And the games, if you're there, it will point you to a, quote unquote online server for the game. And it'll tell you, hey, you're online. Here's the people that are also online. You can do all the various co-op and online stuff you were able to do in that game.
That feels very 1990s.
It's weird, man. It has the like.
It has that like StarCraft vibe. Which server are you on? Hold on, let me type the numbers in.
You have to create an account just like you do when you make a PlayStation Network ID, and then it saves all the accounts and you can't change your name later.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's interesting. And Demon's Souls has a bunch of online functionality related to like what happens when you play the game. And of course you can like disable it, right? And like choose not to connect to the internet and the game works fine that way as well. But I just thought it was wild that you could even do that. Of course, like, how many people do you think are playing this emulated PS3 game at any one time?
7.
You're lucky if it's 7, man. It might be 2. But yeah, it was really interesting to see. I didn't know that the state of this emulation had gotten this far. And it sounds like at least this particular PS3 emulator has relatively good compatibility. I don't think every game is fully playable beginning to end, obviously. But a lot of them are very good. People have said that Demon's Souls is one of the ones that has like a big community and following. So people are pretty sure that one's good the whole way through. But a lot of games work, apparently. Like a surprising amount. I don't know if it's up to the level of things like Dolphin, which are like really, really farly advanced in terms of emulation. But it's getting there, which is very surprising considering how complicated the PS3 is. Or I guess I thought it was.
I'm sure Michael has questions, but I want to know how hot your box got. I'm trying to run this thing.
The fan spins for sure. But it mostly seems to be taxing on the CPU, not on the GPU. The GPU is cruising, man. It has no trouble.
That's what I would expect.
So they do recommend that if you're running this, you have at least a quad-core machine. They don't recommend you try and do it with a dual-core.
Which one's the quad cores? i5s? i5s
yeah, you're asking. I think all of them are quad-core now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're making any dual-core ones anymore. So it's just like... Emulation is something you thought that you can do on old PCs. Well, that is true, but like once you get to a certain point, you need to have a certain amount of horsepower just to be able to, get in the door, considering how much horsepower the PS3 had to start.
This is decent.
But yeah, I can upres it from 720p, no problem. I apply the like graphic tweak or whatever that they have that allows it to run at 60. It runs at 60 pretty flawlessly. It looks really good on my monitor.
How was getting your controller on there? And does it have to be a PS controller?
Nope. It'll use whatever kind of controller you got in Windows. This is on Windows, right? So you have to have whatever if your controller is recognized by Windows, you can get it recognized in this thing.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have been using a PS3 controller for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I recently had like the thumbstick. I don't know what that stuff is. The like rubber or whatever.
Anti-skid device.
Yeah. Has like started crumbling a bit.
Oh no.
So I have moved to using a PS4 controller, and it recognized it no problem. It was like, yeah, sure, man. These are all the buttons. Here you go.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm shocked that the state of the emulation is so far along, considering the PS3 generation was, I mean, several years ago, right? But it's not like it was
PS3 is almost
'06
15?
or '07 something. Yeah,
PS3 is almost 15, I think.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that. What were you doing when the PS3 came out? Can you
I
imagine?
don't know, actually. I assume I was in college, right? I must have
I
been.
think so. I don't know.
'06, that would have been the time.
PS3 launch November 06. Yeah. We aren't crazy. Oh man. No wonder I didn't buy one right away. I didn't have the money for one.
Yeah. The PS3 was $5.99 at
Oh
launch,
yeah.
right?
And it was the thing where you were like, then once you did have the money after Christmas, you're trying to scramble to find one of the launch ones if you could, which I never did, because after launch they took out the backwards compatibility
Mm-hmm.
with the PS2. I wonder how that's going these days, if those machines that had the backwards compatibility have held up or not.
My guess, no. There were a lot of problems with early PS3s, but I mean, there were also a lot of problems with early Xbox 360s. So,
Which did not go backward, or maybe it did. I can't remember.
no, I don't believe you can play original Xbox games, right? I don't think that's
I don't
true.
think so on a 360. I don't think so.
The state of Xbox 360 emulation is not nearly as good as this, is my understanding.
Well, give it a
but
few
given-
years and Game Pass will have them.
But I think that's the thing, is that Xbox has been a lot better about allowing emulation all the way back.
They're incentivized to keep a lot of those games working. We played Halo. That's like, what else from Xbox do you really want to play?
Well, that's the thing, is like the whole point of emulation is not about the games that are profitable, right? It's about allowing you to play weird games that no one has heard of because nothing else will let you play them. But yeah, so it's a cool thing, man. I was shocked how easy it was, and how, considering how much work I've had to do in the past to set up emulators for like GameCube, Wii, PS1 emulators and stuff like that are like kind of weird and have weird front ends, and the like getting it to recognize your controller doesn't always work right, and then it wants to swap the buttons because it's Japanese or it's not, and it wants to do all this other stuff. Like, this was like, plug it in, follow the steps on the wiki, at the end of the steps it works. Like, very straightforward.
It's nice that it's that simple. Just step through it and you're done.
Yeah, the wiki article I was following, from their, the RPCS3 wiki, very straightforward. Start here, download this. Here's our thing. Download that. Put this in that same folder on this at the root level. Go here. Here's the models of CD burners you need. Do these things to rip the discs. So on and so forth. Very straightforward.
Beautiful. Well, I think before we go, we should all make a pizza.
Okay.
Give me your hottest take. Make something that it's not. Oh, look, I'm not making meat lovers over here. Make something that you guys think might not be great, but you want to try.
So I'm gonna cheat because I saw one today that fits into this category,
All right.
and I'm gonna borrow it. Someone had put together their take on a Nashville hot chicken pizza.
All right. What's on there?
Okay.
Let's see. It was I think they had the fried chicken and the sauce.
Okay. On top.
But I think on top.
Fried or not fried?
There was the chicken was fried. There was shredded lettuce.
Shredded
which was
lettuce.
fine. Yeah. So some shredded lettuce, and I think the part that left me unsure was it also had pickles.
So does it have? Well, you got pickles is part of the thing for Nashville
Sure.
chicken. So
Mm-hmm.
is it also so base wise? We're talking pizza crust, tomato
Yep.
sauce, cheese.
Yeah.
No change. Okay.
I think
Pickles on
the
a
thing
pizza.
that makes me, I think the thing that makes me more worried than the pickles for that is the shredded lettuce.
I'm sure that's put on after.
Yeah, it's topped after.
But that's when you got to eat
shredded
fresh
I mean, it would-
because if you get
Exactly,
it
right?
delivered,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lettuce is going to be all wilted and nasty.
Yeah, you have to get that served and directly into your mouth because that lettuce is going to be bad very quick.
Yeah, it's like pizzas that have fresh arugula on them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want arugula on a pizza.
Well, you just don't like arugula.
It's true.
I'm just saying it is fine on scattered on top of a pizza in the way this lettuce would be. But yeah. Look, I'm not picking it, just like I'm not picking this shredded lettuce thing. That's not, I don't know. I'm not immediately against that though. It sounds okay.
Yeah, so it falls into the I want to try it.
You kind of stole my thunder a little bit.
Uh-oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I can work on it. I can work with it. I'm gonna have to get a little help with my topping then. I was thinking of like if you did a pizza, but you had no tomato sauce, and a lot of people like to put ranch on their pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you were just switched it up and like instead of where the pizza goes is like a thin layer of ranch, like instead of the sauce, and then you get like tomatoes on top instead. A little sliced tomato or whatever, so you still have tomato. But then my original thought was like a fried chicken, buttermilk chicken with ranch kind of thing.
So, Andrew, I have had a pizza that is no tomato sauce.
Uh-huh.
It is ranch and buffalo sauce,
Okay.
and then like bits of what is, I assume, like chicken tenders or something cut up on there. So it's
Sure.
like fried, sort of.
Uh-huh. But I'm trying to get away from it
and then
now,
cheese,
because we already
you know?
got the Nashville sandwich.
So I'm just saying that like this sounds totally reasonable.
I'm
Like,
sure it's a pizza people have had before. So now I got to switch it up somehow. Never mind.
I don't know. I really like sun-dried tomatoes on pizza.
Oh yeah, so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could put them. Okay, so here's the thing, right?
I have
Like,
made
sun-dried tomatoes
Pizza
are
sauce
great.
out of sun-dried tomatoes, by the way.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I bet it's great.
It's really good.
The
It's
problem
very
with
rich.
sun-dried tomatoes is they are strong
Uh-huh.
in their flavor usually. And so I don't know what I could put them with other than like other, strong ingredients. You can't do like sun-dried tomatoes and like normal diced tomatoes.
So you
Like,
also don't
what are you
like
doing?
olives, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big olive person
So
for sure.
I generally do olives and like chives and
Okay,
garlic
chives.
and like a lot of garlic. Like the what is it? Toum, Toum, the garlic paste from Lebanese food. That stuff on top, spread out like butter.
I've definitely never had that, but that sounds all right. I think I have not eaten a lot of pesto pizzas. I know they're very popular. All kinds of things you can put in place of the tomato sauce, right?
Right, sure. I want to switch
I
it
just
up.
have not.
I'm gonna change my vote.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that egg pizza thing that I saw which is literally hard boiled eggs. I've never had like a breakfast pizza before.
Really?
Okay.
So like
So you can do like
hard boiled eggs and
potato and
yeah, like maybe some like weird version of hash browns for not for a crust. Then it's not pizza anymore,
sure. It's just like some chopped up ones on there.
Yeah, something. There you have it. Okay, give us your weird pizza thing or defend Swedish pizza at podcast@wewergamers.com. What else? Where else?
Yeah. We are on YouTube. If you check us out search for We Were Gamers and subscribe on there, that would be very helpful. Please do that. We're also on social media. If you search us out at We Were Gamers on Instagram and Twitter and wherever else it is that we are, all kinds of places, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Find us on your podcasting thing from Google or Apple or Spotify or Stitcher or whatever it is that you do.
There you have it. I really could go for just a slice of cheese right now.
I'm just uncreative when it comes to pizza. I'm not going to lie, man.
You know what would be good to try on a pizza? Pickled onions.
Oh, I bet you could make some good ones with pickled onions.
We had pickled onions on our homemade tacos tonight, and it was great.
Nice.
There you go. Make a taco pizza with pickled onions.
Hold on. But not like a Swedish taco pizza.
Yeah, just do like normal taco stuff, like.
But very
carne
lightly,
asada
right?
or-
So it's not like you still see the pizza with some pickled onions. Maybe what type of meat you want with that? Some pulled barbacoa.
Pastor.
Ooh, pastor. Okay, but then we're back to
but
pineapple.
now we get back to
It's a
pineapple.
pineapple problem. Although
No, see,
pineapple
here
and
you go.
pickled onions go really well together.
I have the solution for you guys, okay? It's like pollo asado. That's what you want on there.
I don't know. I'm back on board with the pastor because then we can tahini the pizza with the pickled onion. Oh yeah, I'll pastor
Avocado.
pizza.
Avocado. That's what you do.
You know what? Avocado on a pizza would probably be good. I'm putting it on my breakfast pizza.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
It's like
Some little slices on there. Just throw
like
it
a
on.
little bit of bacon, a little bit of hash brown, the hard boiled egg, and some avocado slices, and we'll pour Q pie over the top of the whole thing.
Ruined.